welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a paint interview with me. I'm going to be reviewing All American Season 3, Episode 1, and then I will be doing a painting, I believe, of an African sunset. I am in no way, shape, or form a professional painter, but I like to dibble dabble. It's like my newest quarantine hobby to try to do, and by that I mean I've done it twice so far. They haven't turned out too terrible, so we'll see how this one goes without any sort of guide or tutorial. If you see me looking down, my computer is here with like notes from the episode along with some images to use for like inspiration for the painting, and then I'll also try to insert up here like just video of what I'm doing throughout the video for the painting, if that makes any sense. I feel like I made that way more complicated than it needed to be. I'll try to insert a video up here of what the painting is coming out like. Yeah, I think that's right. So let's get started. So senior year has started. Oh, also I apologize if you hear any background noise. There's stuff going on. Senior year picks up at the start of the new season, and Spencer and Chris are helping out at Beverly High with this, Black Lives Matter movement event that Liv has put together. He's saying he's doing it because it's a dope idea. By he, I mean Spencer, and because it's important to Liv. And if you've seen the last season and how it ended, we all know something was up with him and Liv this summer. So they're in the school, they're helping, they're not really touching on what really happened. But him and Liv are over here making eye contact across the hall. So clearly something is up that done happened over the summer. And we just don't know yet. So now we're going to pick up from Jordan and Spencer. Who Spencer is talking to Jordan about how he's been booed up all summer with Simone, with their... Oh, this don't look bad. Stroking him like it don't look bad. With their, black love and everything like that. And Jordan is telling Spencer how he kind of went MIA over the summer as well. And Spencer over here isn't really focusing on Jordan because he see Liv over in the corner sipping from this little blue water bottle thing. Keep that in mind, the blue water bottle. He see Liv sipping from the blue water bottle. And so he's not really focusing on Jordan and what Jordan is saying. So Jordan gets an alert on his phone and comes to find out, girl Simone up in labor now. Hold up. So girl Simone is in labor. So Jordan goes to the hospital to go see her. And now we finally see Spencer and Liv interact with each other, like actually talk to each other. And it's awkward. From the minute they start talking, it's awkward between the two of them. Spencer, basically, we find out that Spencer's arm hasn't relapsed since, he dropped that juice at the end of last season. So he hasn't had any more issues with that. He hasn't seen her or anything like that. And she's like, oh, because they're giving their space. That's their thing now. Space. So she goes to pull away and he's pulling on her. And there's like a connection you can see when he goes to pull on her arm to pull her back or whatever. And you can feel like this tension between the two of them. I don't want to admit it. I'm Team Layla all the way. Don't come for me. But I see it. I see what people, the Olivia Spencer fans, what they're rooting for. But I'm not accepting that. So basically, you feel that tension in between them when he goes to pull her arm, and she's like, space. So she goes to turn away, and then we see Asher has now come back, and apparently he came back a day early because Spencer didn't know, and Olivia apparently didn't know that he was coming back a day early from being with his mom. I need some more orange. Hold on. Let's get some orange going up in here. Some sunset. Africa. Yeah. So Olivia didn't know that he was coming back. Spencer didn't know that he was coming back early from his mom. So she's running up to him and jumping on him like there wasn't just anything going on between her and Spencer, And homeboy Spencer is in the back where Olivia left him, looking all salty. Then we go to, let's see, what was next? Hold on, let me look at my notes. Oh, yeah. So now, Simone girl. Simone is in a hospital now. She had the baby. Her dad has come to see her. Jordan is pacing out in the hall. So Simone's dad comes into the hospital room. The nurse had just gotten finished checking up on Simone and everything after having the baby, basically. And so when the dad comes in, she informs her dad that the mom did like the handoff with the new parents that she gave the baby up to for adoption to. And she basically didn't have anything to do with it. It was gonna be too hard. She's tired. She doesn't want to deal with anything. And then also asked that her dad tell Jordan that she is tired and doesn't want to see him right now, yada yada. Clearly she's going through something, which is understandable. She just gave her baby up for adoption. Honestly, this painting right now looks like, you know, he goes and he does what he says, does what she says. He goes to tell Jordan, you know, she doesn't want to talk right now, she's tired, yada yada, and that I guess she'll, you know, hit him up when she feel like it, basically, because that's how she was treating homie. So then we get to Spencer, and he is meeting up with Billy and this reporter back in Crenshaw. So the reporter that he's meeting up with is writing a story on him about why he's now back at South Crenshaw and how could he abandon his team, or why did he abandon his team. She's basically fishing for information, and he's not trying to play into that. So he's telling her he didn't abandon anyone, how Beverly is his past and Crenshaw is his future, stuff like that. So then we get to Billy, and he's moving into his new office as the head coach for South Crenshaw. He's walking through the hall. You notice him stop by this classroom because he hears this woman humming in the classroom, and you just get a glimpse of her back. And then Grace appears, and she's coming by to drop off her plans for the new renovations for South Crenshaw. And she has to give them to the interim principal, who just so happens to be that shady dude from last season. What's his name? Yeah, so the superintendent, D'Angelo Carter. That's the guy who basically wanted to turn South Crenshaw into a magnet school last season, but you know, Spencer came back, made his whole speech, save the school, yeah, save Crenshaw. So now, man, kind of fun. Oh, hold up, let me go back. Moms and Micah didn't make it. Apparently, she said she didn't want to settle, basically. Like, they were settling. Well, she was settling, I'm guessing. So, Micah is no longer. I mean, he's not dead, but, you know, we don't know if we really gonna see him. Add some brown up in here, you know? Some contrast. I feel like that's how they do it in these photos. You gotta blend it out with something else to show contrast. So the superintendent, we find out, is now, what's his name? Oh, the interim principal. So basically, she got to eat crow and hand off now she got to eat crow and hand off her plans to him. And come to find out, again, he apparently used to go to South Crenshaw when Billy was there, and he's saying that he was bullied when he was a student his freshman year by the football team, and how he had to transfer to boarding school because of it, basically. So you could tell he's salty too. He's salty just like Spencer was salty earlier in the episode with Liv, when he saw Liv with Asher. Yeah. So then we have Layla and Coop, and now they're heading back home from tour, and clearly they had a great tour. And they're just talking in the car about Patience. Apparently Patience left the tour early. Oops, nearly lost my paints in there. They don't know why she left. She didn't really say anything. And Coop is also seeing if Layla is going to go see Spencer with her, because apparently something happened with her and Spencer in like Vegas, and we don't really know too much right now about what happened in Vegas, but she's saying no because she's not really sure what they are right now with each other, and she doesn't really want to talk about that like in that setting. Back at Spencer's house, we see him chilling with, I'm gonna start working on like my son. I think I'm gonna be adventurous and try to make a little sun thing. Back at Spencer's house, we see Spencer, Chris, and Patience is there. Patience, man, Patience, girl, you left the Toby Jewelry chilling. So yeah, Patience is there on the couch, and you can clearly see that they're trying to cover up my girl Chelsea's pregnancy. Good job, they got her hiding behind the couch. So there's a knock on the door. It's Coop. Coop comes to see them. She's all hugging on Patience and everything. So clearly nothing is wrong between the two of them. Well, I'm assuming because they're all hugging up. And she still doesn't want to tell them like why she left the tour early. She's just saying tour isn't for everyone. That's her thing now too. They don't care too much about it, like go too much into it. They go on with their lives, but they tell Coop that Tyrone's sister is back in town, and that she's been back in town for a while, but no one's seen her lately. And come to find out, his sister is an attorney. We find out on the next scene, which is her going to see Laura. She shows up at Laura's doorstep and she wants to talk to Laura for some reason. Then we go back to the hospital. Simone's daddy is over by the nursery, and I guess, you know, he wants to see the baby and everything. The adoptive father is there, and he's basically spilling all him and his wife's details about how she couldn't have kids and everything, and how this is something that they've always wanted, was adoption. So they were so happy that they were able to have this happen for them, blah blah blah. And then the dad learns that the baby's name is Shay. Flashes to Coop and Patience. They're at the hangout spot in Crenshaw, where Coop is telling Patience how Preach has sent Quan to watch over her, but Coop went on tour, so he didn't really have to look out for her too tough because she wasn't even in the same town as Tyrone's sister. Like, they also touched base on Patience leaving tour, but that's it, because she's still not trying to talk about it. And Coop is just like, well, when you want to talk, let me know. You know how Coop is, mad annoying. But I like Coop sometimes, you know. So yeah, Coop just leaves it at that, goes about her business. My painting kind of looks like a dinosaur right here at this point in time. We're gonna use our imagination and say that's the sun. Then it goes to Billy and Grace, and they're in Billy's, you know, new office, and they're chatting and everything about the new interim principal and how they don't like him and how they're gonna deal with him. Well, how Grace doesn't like him and how they're gonna deal with him and everything like that. And now they know who he is. And then Laura shows up. Homegirl Laura, you know, I like Laura. Laura, she's doing good, you know. She's not even holding a grudge or anything. She shows up. There's a slight pause when she sees Grace there, but you know, nothing too bad. And then she ends up inviting Grace and the kids over to Spencer and Dylan over to their house for dinner that night, like family dinner and everything, cause you know, making progress, small steps, baby steps. So Grace says, yeah, you know, they'll love to come. She ends up leaving, and she actually, Laura actually came to the office to keep up with the tradition that her and Billy have, where she brings him some stuff or whatever for his first day of the season. And then they're chatting as well. Oh, and then in between, Liv girl is home by herself, and she has Asher there with her. So technically she's not by herself, but like her parents aren't there, Jordan's not there, she has a house to herself. So she has Asher over. He's trying to talk about what happened over summer. She not trying to have it. I don't know, something's up with Liv. Is my thing recorded? Yeah, something's up with Liv, and I think it's mostly to do with the alcohol. There's a lot of people out there that will tell you that they believe that her and Spencer slept together over the summer, which is why they've been acting like this for most of the episode at this point. I'm saying maybe, you know, he found out about the drugs and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm in denial. She's changing the subject off of that. Why talk, basically, when they have the house? Why talk when they have the house to themselves? So that's what happened. Spencer gets a text from Layla, who wants to talk about them. And then right after he gets that text, he sees Cam at the restaurant. Oh, he went to go pick up his check. That's why he saw Cam, who is throwing shade because he saw the article that was released that Spencer had done earlier with the reporter lady. And basically she misconstrued his words. And he's telling him how his team, well, his old team, Beverly team, isn't going to be too happy about that. Then he wants to challenge Spencer, well, tries to challenge Spencer to a game, which Spencer isn't falling for. But he had the nerve to be shady and try to throw my man getting shot up in his face, talking about, oh, you know, because you've been shot, blah, blah, blah. Don't be coming for Spencer like that. So, Spencer goes about his business, but you know, you could tell that he kind of took it to heart. The way he looked in that moment kind of hit home a little bit. Felt bad for him, but he kept it pushing. So go to Simone. Now she's back in the hospital. She's finally having a heart-to-heart with her dad and telling him that basically the reason she's avoiding Jordan is because he loved the baby so much, and she feels like he might hate her for giving the baby up for adoption still, because of how they've been over the summer, how close they've gotten. She feels like he might feel some ways towards her, but her dad is telling her, you know, have faith in Jordan, and which I give him that. Jordan's not that type. He's annoying at times, but he's not that type. So her dad basically goes ahead and tells her, you know, just let him in. That boy loves you, you know, and he couldn't hate you. This does not look like African sunset. I don't know. Let me look at my little inspiration photo. Hold up. Let's see where we went wrong. It's a joint effort. Maybe we add some trees. Maybe we need to add some color. Add some color. Yeah. Okay. And then we got this, like that. Yeah, I got some black. And then let's see. Okay. Cool. So we got Spencer, who shows up at Olivia's house unannounced, talking about he looking for Jordan. Jordan's not there. Jordan's at the hospital pacing. And Liv comes downstairs. Clearly her and Ash are up to no good. And she's saying like, oh, you know, throwing shade because he got a key. And she didn't want to see him. So he is telling her like, oh, maybe I should give this key back. Still awkward. And poor Asher comes downstairs and he's all excited to see Spencer, like, oh, Spencer, my man. And then he tells him basically how Jordan might be at JJ's half birthday later on that day. Spencer is leaving. Olivia wants to come up to him. Mind you, earlier in the episode, she was like, space. Now she comes running up to him and she's like, oh, is everything okay? Did anything happen? And so my boy Spencer was like, no, space. Throwing it right back, you know? So then he gives her back the key, as he should, and then he leaves. As he's walking up to his job now, because they're all there for JJ's half birthday, Layla is waiting for him outside. She was like, you know, I texted earlier to be like a big girl, but I just wanted to talk about us basically and how Vegas was no big deal. And he's like, Layla, it is to me. And then they solidify their relationship and kiss, which I'm all for. Layla and Spencer being together, because my girl went and got the help she needed last season, and now she's in a good space. Yeah, so Layla right now I feel like is good, and you know, she has Coop there who she's working on music with and everything, and now she has her relationship with Spencer, which if something did happen with Olivia and Spencer, they need to say something, because season 1 with Olivia and Asher, you saw how that blew up in my girl Layla's face when no one said anything, and Asher wanted to open his big mouth at the homecoming dance. So if anything did happen, like, you should tell her up front, which is why I don't think anything probably happened romantically between them. I'm hoping not. I'm holding out hope, but that's why I'm hoping, because why would you want that to happen to your best friend twice? Well, let's be more honest with each other, and you should be doing that. Don't be sitting here starting things on the side, not telling her, like, if you're messing around with her current boyfriend or whatever. Granted, you know, Liv was filming Spencer first because she done seen him first and everything, but Layla's the one that went after him and actually reeled him in, you know. But yeah, that's what happens there. Okay, so back to Coop and Patience. So Coop is on the phone. She's trying to go see Preach, but And now Patience is finally trying to talk about what happened on tour. She's basically saying how she signed in NDA. She can't really talk about it, but she's doing this to protect Coop and everything, and how no one really knows Layla's dad. He's not who he appears to be, and how he takes Cutthroat to a whole nother level, basically. And then when she's trying to finally talk, Coop is on the phone because she's trying to find out about Preach, and she goes back to her conversation on the phone. Kind of find out Preach was released from prison, and Tyrone's sister is the one that got him released from prison. So she's a little worried. Layla and Liv are talking now in the restaurant about Summer, basically. So she's saying how her and Spencer got together in Vegas and how they just solidified their relationship. And then she asks Liv about her sobriety sister that she was supposed to be going to visit, and Liv's kind of, you can tell she was not with no sobriety sister. She lied. I don't know where she was, what she was doing, but she wasn't with no sobriety sister because she's beating around the bush and trying to just brush it off, you know? Then we have JJ and Jordan, and they're by the pool table with the Westlake boys and Spencer, but they're throwing Spencer shade because they, I guess, read Spencer's article and they felt some kind of way about it. So I really should have followed a tutorial with this because this looks crazy. Please hold, I need more color. Oh, hold up. So backtrack to Olivia and Layla really quickly at the table talking about Summer. This whole time that they're talking, Liv is sipping from her little blue water bottle. Ain't no water up in that bottle, something else. So now Spencer and them are by the pool table. They're playing pool. Spencer didn't want to play with the Westlake boys, but Jordan included them because he knew Spencer didn't want them to join in, and he was mad at Spencer because of what happened. And then they end up getting into an argument, Jordan and Spencer, which results in Jordan throwing hands. Man, had my boy Spencer laid out on the table, over there hugging the table like it was a body pillow. And then Spencer, oh, for a second there, my man Spencer hit, like his arm went numb, but he threw them hands right back, had Jordan sleep on the floor for a second. And then it goes to them outside, you know, and they're trying to figure, well, Spencer is trying to figure out what happened between the two of them that got them to this point. Jordan is just annoying, acting as she usually does when things don't go his way. And you can tell Jordan is hurt though by the situation, and that's why he's acting the way he is and why he threw hands in the first place, blah, blah, blah. But then he just ups and leaves and nothing gets resolved between the two of them. Turns out the lady that Billy saw earlier in the episode in the classroom who was humming was just like a flashback he had of his mother, because the flashback continues later on in the episode of him in the classroom with her talking to her when he was little. So then Spencer tells his mom how he doesn't want to go to the dinner anymore because of what happened with him and Jordan and everything. And then you got Dylan coming in with the words of wisdom, you know, telling him how Jordan felt like his brother, well, Jordan is his brother, and how to have that taken away, he feels like, is why he's acting the way he is. Oh, and can we just talk about how Dylan's voice got deeper? Dylan, he was like this tall. But yeah, he's telling him, and then, you know, spitting some facts, some words of wisdom to my man Spence. So they end up, you know, going to the dinner anyway. Spencer calls Jordan and he leaves a voicemail for him since Jordan's not picking up like a little baby. So Tyrone's sister goes to meet with Coop in Crenshaw and basically telling her, this looks crazy. Basically telling her that she's trying to right her brother's wrongs. And it first started with her getting Preach out of prison, and how she's trying to continue to make things better because her brother basically terrorized everyone, which he did. But I don't know, I'm keeping my eyes open because I don't seem right with her. I feel like, yeah, she's a lawyer, but you know, she got power, and I feel like she's still gonna try to come after Coop. And you know, Coop been annoying lately, so I don't really mind it too tough, but I don't think I'm ready to see the girl die or anything like that, so let her rock for a little bit. So Simone is crying in the hospital now because I guess everything is hitting her all at once. Her dad comes. Man, Simone's daddy, give it up for him, because her mama was a piece of work. Her dad comes and he's comforting her and telling her, everything's okay. Turns out he ended up getting photos of the baby because she didn't get to see the baby, and now she was feeling hurt because of that. So he shows her photos and tells her the name, Shay, so she feels a little more at ease with that. And then she ends up calling Jordan and letting him know that, he can come see her and everything. And then her dad also sends Jordan some photos of the baby as well, so that way he can see the baby too. And then we're at the family dinner. And this is the end of the episode, y'all, right here. Everything is going okay, they're chill and everything like that at the Baker household. And he goes to the kitchen and he tells Billy finally that his arm is acting up. And the only reason he says he's telling him is because it happened after the jamboree end of last season, and it hadn't happened again all summer, but he's telling him now because it just happened again when he had the fight with Jordan. So Billy is saying he's going to do everything and reach out to his people so that way he can get his arm checked out. And then he goes to leave. Guess who comes in the kitchen? Liv. Oh, for someone who wants space, she sure is around a lot. So she comes in the kitchen and she's like, I'm happy you told him and everything like that, and that you're going to get help, yada yada. And then comes this hug, this hug again. So then they go hug, and then she goes to pull away, and then he goes grabbing her again, grabbing the hand. Why? So he goes and he grabs her hand, and they have that connection again, that tension, and I'm denying it. I'm denying it in my heart. I'm not accepting it. And she stops and she looks, and he's like, Liv, so we're just not going to talk about what happened? What happened? Y'all, I'm not here for it. I'm not. If Spencer and Layla are not in game, I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. Oh, the thing just came on. Sorry, y'all. Telling y'all right now, I'm gonna bawl my eyes out, because no, what in the world? I feel like this is gonna be a really good season though, because we have the patient storyline, which no one knows right now, what's happening with her, why she. Side note, I've had a cup of water here this whole time to clean off brushes. I've used 2 brushes this whole time. Yeah, so I feel like it's going to be a really good season because we have the patient storyline. No one knows what's happening with patients, and I don't know, I feel like maybe JP tried to come on to her or something. I don't know. But then another part of me too, I'm like, maybe this is what really happened with Layla's mom. She couldn't take him no more because of whatever he did to patients. He might have done to Layla's mom, whether it be controlling or just being in a relationship with him overall. He probably was the reason. She thought her mama was going crazy. Nah, that's probably JP. My girl Layla, who's been so good lately, helping Coop with her career and everything. And I gotta focus. I'm making some trees right now. So helping Coop with her career and everything. This is my girl's career path. Although honestly, I can kind of see Layla with Jordan too. But Jordan and Simone, they seem like they're all, in lover's paradise or whatever right now. So I feel like that's something else that's a good storyline that's going to play out over the season. I feel like they're going to drag that Olivia, and we're going to get some more details next episode, so hopefully they're not dragging it out for too long. But yeah, I feel like Spencer and Olivia's storyline about Summer is going to be really good to see what happened there. Yeah, my hands are shaking. You would have thought I was really trying. I really am though. Another thing I kind of feel, Grace and the superintendent, D'Angelo, I feel like that's going to be a little side lovers storyline too. Right now she can't stand him. I see that going places. I'm really trying to see what's going to happen with patients this season. How many chairs and school desks and things like that they're going to get homegirl to hide behind, so that way no one can tell that she's pregnant. Yeah. And then poor Asher. I couldn't stand Asher at first, but he seemed like he doing better. He done went on a little cruise with his mama. He been away for a while. He seemed like he really loved Olivia, Oh, and then a side note. So this whole time, in the beginning of the episode, Chris and Spencer was at the school when she was talking to Spencer and everything, you would have never known that this girl Olivia was once with Chris, because it's like she don't even see him. He invisible. She don't pay homeboy no mind. So poor Chris. Hopefully he found somebody too. I don't know. There's a lot going on up in here, but yeah, that's what it is. Let me just add some, what do you call it? Some trees. I got some trees really quickly. And then I'll show you my finished product. Prepare to be amazed. I think that works. Oh my, okay, no lie though. I think the trees made this painting. Hold up. Hold up. Alright, y'all. Hold up. Oh, we should probably put something down here. Like, what is that? Hold up. Let's add some color down here. I'm gonna put some spleckies. Some splecks. Yeah, I don't think Olivia and Spencer slept together. I think, or I feel, I'm gonna make myself believe that she just had like a relapse, you know? And he was there to see it. And he was trying to help her, but she didn't want the help and everything like that. She probably thought she could help herself. She probably lied to him also about going to see a sobriety sister or whatever and didn't do it. So I think that's what's happening in that situation there. I do feel like it's a little early for him and Layla to rekindle their relationship. So I don't, as much as I love them together, I don't see it lasting for the whole season. Hopefully it does though, because I don't know, man. I mean, that's why they didn't really push it too much last season, because they wanted things to be right when they did come back together. And honestly, I don't feel like things are right now for them to be together, but I'm gonna appreciate it while I have it. I'm gonna treasure it. And then I see Simone and Jordan going for a while. Like I said with Grace, I see Grace ending up with the superintendent. I definitely see that happening. And then Billy and Laura, they're not together right now, but I do see them like possibly, you know, going back to that, you know, relationship, putting their family back together, whatever that may look like, whatever that may be. Yeah, but yeah, it was a great episode. I really liked it. I missed a whole thing on the bottom. Let me add some color down there. Hold up. Let's get this right here. Let's get this big brush. Let's get this big brush. Okay. Are you ready for the big reveal? Like I said in the beginning, please do not judge. I tried my hardest to, you know, create this off the top of my dome, and this is what we got. Ta-da! It is some trees and the sunset. No, that's what we're looking like. That's what it's looking like, you guys. I mean, if you try to like flip, if you do it really quickly, like a quick flip, it look good. But yeah, that's, you know, what it is. Thanks for listening to my ramble about, you know, All American. Hopefully I'll see you next week for next week's episode, and hopefully my skills will be a little more advanced by then. If not, we'll probably figure something else out apart from painting. No, I'm not gonna paint. Yeah, I know my painting, you know, I look like I was working so hard over here with all my strokes and everything, and oh, I got paint on my sweater. Oh well, I was working so hard over here, and this is what I ended up with. But you know, progress. One day we'll attempt this again, and it'll have better results, hopefully. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make this a whole series until I become a pro at these paintings off the top of my head and see how they go.